May 7th, 3076, Tukayyid, Ghost Bear Dominion. At nearly 65, mech warrior Zim was considered too old to be a mech warrior even by clan Diamond Shark standards. In several other clans, warriors half his age would be considered getting long in the tooth. Still, largely due to his stubbornness and uncanny ability to win fights in the circle of equals, Zim had retained both his position in Beta Galaxy and his aging Timberwolf. Politics annoyed Zim, and as a result, he never achieved rank beyond mech warrior and was continually posted wherever his superiors felt they could put him far from their big plans. His reputation was of a warrior who was too unlucky to die in battle and just lucky enough not to be sent into the next battle holding a rifle instead of piloting a battle mech. As the sun peaked in the sky over the rocky plains of the chosen site for the trial, Zim wondered if this would be yet another battle he would walk away from. Clan Diamond Shark had been making bold moves in recent months and years to spread across what had once been the planets of the Inner Sphere. Tukayyid had been identified as an excellent location to establish a Diamond Shark presence, as it held a central point between the realms of two of the major Inner Sphere houses and was smack dab in the middle of the Ghost Bear Dominion. The bears, of course, were rather annoyed by the presumption and bid 2 full stars of mechs along with 3 points of battle armor in defense of the planet in the arranged trial of possession. Zim was included in the attacking bid, largely as an inside joke between the leadership of Beta Galaxy. Zim suspected this to be the case, but did not protest. He felt too old for such petty nonsense. Stretching his tired bones in his Timberwolf's cockpit, Zim was ready to charge into battle against the Ghost Bear's forces, but was stopped when Star Commander Braddock's snake-like voice came over the comms and told him to hold on the right to prevent a flanking maneuver. This placed Zim on the edge of a river on the opposite side from where the fighting was expected. This was not a surprise, but he did his duty, and when the fighting began, Zim was witnessed only at a great distance. Lasers flashed across the sky, plumes of dark smoke billowed up, and gradually the number of voices on the comms dwindled. Finally, after he could no longer wait, Zim pushed his Timberwolf into a walk down toward the fighting. He was interrupted by a point of Diamond Shark elementals falling back in arcing jumps over the small hill. "Get in the fight, mech warrior," a voice over the comm said in a tired and breathless tone. "Af, I am ready." "Where are the others?" Zim replied. "We are all that's left. Can you give us a lift? Maybe we can turn this around." The elemental responded as the 5 of them closed the distance and began to climb the Timberwolf's frame. Their claws wrapped around the Timberwolf's built-in handles and mag-locked their armor to the side of the mech. Zim was concerned that things were obviously not going well, yet excited by the prospect of actually being able to make a difference. That is, if he wasn't instantly killed by whatever was on the other side of that hill. "Ready, mech warrior. Get us close, we can finish this," the voice commanded in Zim's ear. "Aft point, Commander," Zim responded after finally glancing down at the FOF info on his heads-up display. The Timberwolf launched into a run toward the rocky hill. Small stones and rubble from battles long past crunched under the 75-ton mech's feet. As his mech began to rise over the top of the hill, Zim was surprised to see that very little was still moving. The wreckage of mechs and battle armor scattered the field. Craters billowed smoke, and several warriors could be seen walking back toward their respective staging areas. Only a lone Kodiak still stood. Its blue and white armor plating concealed what was likely a very dangerous mech warrior. As the Timberwolf was spotted, it seemed to grow several meters taller in anticipation of the hunt. The gigantic mech began to lumber forward as Zim pushed his mech into a full run. Every meter closer was one less meter that those elementals had to close the distance. Without explanation, Zim understood this was very likely going to end in disaster. Yet this point of elementals seemed determined to keep up the fight, even though there would be very little dishonor in accepting defeat at this point. The Timberwolf closed the distance quickly, even though it was taking fire from the Kodiak's ER lasers. The mech stumbled several times as armor was gouged from its legs and torso. Still, he kept running. Zim fired his ER-PPCs, one of which was stitched a jagged scar across the Kodiak's left torso. The 2 mechs continued to trade shots, both eager to get into close range. SRMs streaked from the Ghost Bear's mech, ripping even deeper into the old Timberwolf's hide. It wasn't until it was too late did the Ghost Bear mech warrior realize the Timberwolf wasn't alone. From behind the mech's frame climbed a point of teal elementals who leapt from the still-running Timberwolf and triggered their jump jets in arcs that closed the remaining gap between Timberwolf and Kodiak. Landing on the Kodiak's now backpedaling mass, the elementals sought to capitalize upon the damage Zim had done on their charge, ripping armor plate, firing lasers, and machine guns into exposed and weak points. The Ghost Bear mech tried to shake off the small armored infantry and was able to scrape one off, though it ended up doing even more damage in the process with the assault mech's clawed hand. Within 45 seconds, it was over. The Kodiak lay on its back, the cockpit ripped open and spewing smoke from burning plastic and computer components. The 4 remaining elementals stood upon their kill in triumph, broadcasting their statements of victory over the open band. Clan Diamond Shark had won the trial and would establish a trading post on Tukayyid. Only after a considerable time did the elemental point commander glance back toward the Timberwolf. It stood motionless, slumped at an angle that would suggest it was embarrassed by the fact that the cockpit was no longer there. Rounds from the Kodiak's Ultra AC-20 had stitched up the torso and obliterated the cockpit. MechWarrior Zim had not lived to see how pivotal his actions had been in this trial. It was the old Diamond Shark's last hunt, and it had been glorious. I'm really happy that this project can be a celebration of my 3,000th YouTube subscriber. I can't believe we got here before the end of the year. I really appreciate it, and I want to let you know that I have big plans going for 2023. If you want to watch more, check out this piece of short fiction that takes place on the planet Stewart. It mixes official Battletech lore with a more personal story, and I hope you enjoy it. Take care, and go make the world a slightly better place today and tomorrow.